Okay, so you guys are looking at the Bitterroot Mountains right now. And we are in the Bitterroots, so just south of Missoula. Let me see if I can see where everybody else is from. We've got, oh, I think we have some folks in Lolo that are going to join us on this one. It looks like we have Broadus. Are you guys here? And I think we have some Missoula folks even. So folks that are pretty close. It's so nice to see you guys. I have to say, in Broadus, is it chilly over there? Because it's been really chilly over here. All right, we're gonna, oh, there we go. We got some, oh, I see we've got some students in the class. Fantastic.
Morticia's back on those rocky outcrops.
We've got, let's see. Oh, how is it over in St. Labray? How are you guys doing?
She hasn't been there forever. Now she's.
Hi, it's good to see you guys.
Spots, you know.
I am so glad that you are able to join us. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started, and I suspect we will have a few more classes that are popping in periodically today. And if you're on the live stream, you should be able to type chats into the comments, and we will respond to those. So, and also, if you have any questions for us during this, you can go ahead and type in the chat, and then we'll have some time definitely to ask the researchers questions. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Rob Dominic from Raptor View Research Institute. Hi, Rob, how are you?
Doing great.
Awesome.
Waiting on some eagles.
We're waiting on the eagles. So do you spend a lot of time waiting on eagles?
Most of our time is spent waiting on eagles and then watching eagles after we've had them in hand and they have transmitters on them. Yeah, we could spend unlimited amount of time.
Oh, that is so cool.
Watching the tracks and studying these birds.
I love it. So I have a couple of questions just to get us started today. And I'm going to go ahead and ask these and then have the classes go ahead, discuss, and then you can either type your responses in the chat or you can unmute your microphone and let us know. So just to get us thinking about golden eagles, my first question is, what do golden eagles eat most of the time?
That's a good question.
Let's see if they can answer first.
Okay.
So I'm going to see if they can answer first. Then we'll shoot it over to you. All right. Talking. They're eating. No, they're not eating. They're discussing. They're discussing. All right. St. Labray, do you guys have any thoughts? Oh, rabbits.
Yeah. Rabbits. Yeah, jackrabbits.
That's a big one.
Big prey item for them. And in areas where jackrabbit numbers crash, that can affect golden eagle numbers.
Yep, rodents is another one. So rabbits, rodents are big ones. Yes. How about fish? That's a question that I have.
Not goldens.
Okay.
I think it's been recorded or observed, but like scavenging, but very, very unusual.
Okay, so not really fish. That's interesting because they're the golden or the bald eagle. They eat a lot of fish.
They eat in certain times of the year almost exclusively fish. And a big mistake is some people will think golden eagles eat fish because they'll see a young bald eagle, which resembles a golden eagle, hanging out with adult bald eagles, and they're like, "Oh, I saw a couple of bald eagles and a golden eagle hanging out by the river," and that's probably one of the biggest ID mistakes that we get. Yeah. Oh,
I believe it. They also said like roadkill or nature kill are things that they'll eat. And
roadkill is huge,
right?
Yep, and nature kill. Yeah, actually I like that term, nature kill. I have not heard that.
Nice work, St. Labray. Okay, another question for our students. Where do golden eagles like to nest? This is like your pre-test here.
Man, that bait's busy.
You can see Rob's watching some bait. I'll show you what he's looking at. It's really fun to watch. So where do golden eagles nest? Rob, you want to share a little insight on that with us?
Yeah, golden eagles love to nest in large, mature trees or on cliffs, and depends on where you're at. Like in the Bitterroot Valley here, probably more of them are in trees than on cliffs, and then in certain areas out by Broadus, for example, or Big Timber, those are a lot of cliff nesters. But what we found is a surprising number of golden eagles did select for trees in areas where they had cliffs. And one of the ways for surveying for local eagles, for breeding eagles, is researchers will fly in fixed wing aircraft. So, and when these eagles are nesting in trees, it makes it really hard for the surveyors to get an idea of what the local eagle populations are, the breeding population.
So Broadus did say that so the students in Broadus said that they do nest in trees, and then over in St. Lubre they said they're not totally sure. They think that only the bald eagles nest high, but it is the golden eagles also that.
Bald eagles almost exclusively in trees.
Okay.
And golden eagles either or.
Okay, that's
or tree.
Awesome. Okay, one more question for students. What habitat is most important to golden eagles, or what habitat do they prefer? So I'm going to just connect it as they're thinking about, and I want them to think about maybe their own landscape and where they see golden eagles. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Bitterroot Valley, and I would like you to talk about that because this is pretty important habitat for golden eagles. And why is the Bitterroot Valley such important habitat?
The Bitterroot Valley is great for a number of reasons. One is we have this whole riparian complex, this cottonwood riparian complex right down the middle, and then it's bordered by the Bitterroot Mountains to the west and the Sapphire Mountains to the east. And it's like a 10-mile swath and nearly 180 miles from north to south. So it's like this perfect area for both bald and golden eagles. And we find from our telemetry data that the golden eagles are usually utilizing the foothills and the wooded mountains on the perimeter of the valley, and the bald eagles are largely in the lowlands and the riparian area, which is along the river, which that's not exclusively, but in general, we see the goldens favoring the steep mountains and the bald eagles more in the river bottom.
Okay, so while the students were having an opportunity to answer, and Broadus says that trees are pretty important to them as part of the habitat.
Yes.
Yeah, so trees. Absolutely. And
yep, we in our studies of winter habitat use, they were actually selecting for the forest, which was a surprise to us. We didn't expect that. Another real important aspect for golden eagles is terrain ruggedness or steepness. They really select for that.
Oh, that's awesome. So you kept looking at your computer, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can show the students what you were looking at. So this is one of the big pieces that you do while you are studying, is watch your computer and talk to me a little bit about what we're looking at. So you can see that.
We're looking at the camera screens?
The camera screens, yeah.
So we have, our crew is here, Chloe and Adrian. I don't know if you guys you'll see them at some point. They're running blood samples right now. Adam's in the background. But Chloe and Adrian and one of our other eagle trappers, he's not here today. He's got day off. But they got these baits set up, roadkill deer and net launchers set up, and we're set up in areas where we could watch the baits through our computers via these cameras. And so we're waiting for something to happen. I mean, we see magpies, we see ravens.
Yep.
We've got a lot of ravens feeding today, which is a good sign generally, because if ravens are feeding, that kind of gives the green light for eagles. So I can't help, I just keep going back looking here. And if we get an eagle on one of these baits, then we're going to mobilize real quick. And Chloe and Adrian and maybe even Adam will run down there and fire the net, and if we're lucky, the net drops over the eagle, and then we extract it and bring it right back to where we are now to go to work on it.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome. So this is a big part, and the MPG live cameras at the ranch here is a resource that you guys can use in your classrooms too, and you can find that on the page we sent. So, all the birds just flew away, and that's always really exciting. Why is that exciting?
That makes me, I'm sorry, I'm distracted with that, because when they all burst like that, that could mean that there's an eagle or another raptor right in the area.
Whoa. So we're going to be watching this camera very, very closely. Keep your fingers crossed, because if we get, we're lucky enough to get one, then you'll get a close-up look of a golden eagle. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this. We're going back to Rob. So Rob, I want to know, walk us through. So you've been watching the camera. Let's say that a golden eagle landed, you used the net shooter, you shot over it, you caught an eagle, you have a bunch of stuff on the table, and I'm going to kind of pan down to show all of this stuff that's hanging out on the table. Okay. So what do you do with all of this, and what do you do? How do you conduct your research?
Okay, these are our tools. So every eagle is going to get a band. It's a U.S. Geologic Survey serial marked band, and it has a specific number that'll be specific to the eagle, kind of like a fingerprint. It's going to be the only bird that ever gets this number, and so that it will carry for life. If we catch a bald eagle, we'll supplement the banding with this auxiliary markers. So we auxiliary mark with a satellite transmitter, colored leg band, and in the case of golden eagles, we'll use a wing tag. So the bird will either, if it's a golden eagle, for example, it's either going to get wing tags or a satellite transmitter. And we're targeting older birds for the transmitter. And when I say older, a bird that's, let's say, 4 or 5 years and up. And we can age the birds up to about 5 years. But they could be, for all we know, 30 years.
Wow.
Once they hit a certain plumage characteristic, it's called definitive plumage, they don't change. But up until about 5 years, we can see the younger feathers anyway. So, and then if we get an opportunity to catch an eagle, or even we have a red-tailed hawk we're targeting too that occasionally feeds on our baits, we'll hustle down there, we'll put a hood on the bird. This covers their eyes, keeps them calm. We may even put it in the eagle straitjacket as well. And then we go to work. We'll take blood samples, we'll take a feather sample, and we'll just move through the bird in the course of about 45 minutes and release it. One of the things we'll do is test it. We test every bird we capture. We test for lead. Let's see what the blood lead levels are. And what we have found in this study, more than any other projects like it, although this is certainly without question one of the largest single studies in the country on eagles, in the world for that matter. But we have found that 95% of the birds that we've sampled have elevated lead, and that is concerning, obviously. And that's what that's what Chloe is doing right now. She's testing the lead. We just got the kit in, so we're back testing birds that we caught this year. And what we're finding is every one of these birds that they've tested so far has above background levels, pretty much. Yeah, so when we measure lead, we measure in micrograms per deciliter, but if you think about just the numbers, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, or 20 to 40, 40 to 60, and 60 to 100, these are like our rough levels. So 10 and below, that's what we call background. 20 to 40 would be subclinical, 40 to 60 clinical, 60 to 100 we call acute, and anything above 100, we look at that as fatal levels.
Yes, Kathleen.
We have people watching on the live stream.
Yeah.
And they are asking to kind of understand more about how the lead gets into the eagle. So maybe the ammunition and talking about that.
This is good. And just real quick, to put those numbers into perspective, if we went and had our blood drawn and we had a level of 10, I'd be like, whoa, that's a lot. If you bring your child, or if you're a little kid and you go to the doctors, do you have even a level of 1 or 2? That's cause for concern, because things happen. It affects the brain. It affects organ function. Everything about the working parts of the eagle is affected by lead. So the question was, where are they getting the lead?
Yeah, I can hold that.
Okay. This is kind of a cool little exhibit that we have here.
Perfect.
See it? Okay.
So, and you can see the fragmented part on the, what would be, is that their left or their right?
I don't know.
Viewer.
All the little pieces. I can link to it.
Okay, yeah. So that over here, this is a copper bullet, and this is a copper jacketed lead core rifle bullet fired into
A deer.
when it fires into a deer and it explodes, essentially, these tiny pieces of lead can penetrate the muscle tissue and in the gut for up to 2 feet. And it's those that are deadly. They're powder-like. I mean, if some of those were sprinkled into your venison chili, you would never know you were eating it, but you are getting leaded. And this is what's happening with the eagles on a landscape level across the country. Really, is what we're learning now. And so that is what's causing these 95% of the eagles to have these elevated lead. So copper, while you wouldn't want to eat a bunch of copper, it's not good for you. It's not a neurotoxin. And that's what we recommend people switching to copper bullet. So that's the effect versus lead and that effect. And if we could just do that, everybody, the hunting community, the shooting community, it would make a huge difference in helping to protect these birds. And in the case of golden eagles, their populations, they're a species of concern, and in some places the numbers are going down, and this is a huge problem, we know it. And even a small amount of lead can affect its ability to hunt, to avoid predators, breed, just function in general. Lead affects everything from your motor skills to kidney function, digestion, to outright poisoning.
So I'm wondering if we have any questions. I want to pause for a few minutes, see if there's any questions from either Brodus or St. Labray or from the live stream. And then we'll go back and we'll figure out what Chloe's up to right now. So go ahead and you can unmute your microphones, or you can type questions into the chat. All right. And you can see that Rob is diligently watching the eagle stream. Kathleen, do we have one from the stream?
So is hunting with lead core bullets the only way that an eagle would get lead in its system?
Far and away, it's been shown. It used to be debated. It's not debated anymore. The science has shown this time and time again. Variety of projects. So yeah, that's it. I mean, these birds are facultative scavengers. There's gut piles all over these mountains. Even now there are. Some of them have been covered up by snow from this fall. Now that the snow recedes, exposes them. So these birds, it's what they're feeding on.
Welcome, Mrs. Roscoe's class. It's great to see you. We're just talking a little bit. We're having a moment for question and answers with students. And I see it looks like we have question. Ooh, Broadus wants to know if they'll be able to see an eagle close up.
We're trying.
We're trying.
We're trying right now. If an eagle shows up on that bait, everything's going to change. And you guys, I believe, will be able to see this. They'll be able to watch this action, right? So,
yeah.
I can't. I have to stop looking at it because I just like am trying to will an eagle in to our bait, and it's active. We have ravens and magpies, and that's what we want. We want those scavengers to come first, and the eagles will. That kind of gives them a green light to come into the bait, and so we're hopeful. And it can happen just like this, like 1 second it's there, and we'll be all over it. And these guys, Chloe and Adrian, will move very quickly if we get an eagle on that bait, because they'll have to hustle out of here, and then they got to drive a mile or so, set up from their location, remotely trigger the net launcher, which fires 3 padded projectiles about 5 paces center, shoots a 20-foot by 20-foot net, which will go over top of the carcass and the eagle, and then we're in business.
Awesome. So I am noticing on the table that you have these little, I don't know what they are. Maybe you can tell them. They've got antennas. They've got, what is that, and what do you use it for? So
these are satellite transmitters. This is the 65-gram satellite transmitter. This will go on the back of an eagle. We hook them up with a backpack style, so you get 2 straps around the neck and then 2 up and over their back legs or their legs. And they're different sizes. This is a size that would work. This is 22 grams, so this would work for a large red-tailed hawk or an osprey. We have this little 12-grammer, which works for a peregrine falcon. I think this is a 12-grammer. Anyway, yeah. So
you strap those onto the birds when you catch them.
Yep.
And what does that allow that to do?
Well, we can collect movement data daily, up to 10 locations a day on these birds, and we're able to really just track their movements, habitat use, what they're doing on a daily basis. And we do this with dozens and dozens of eagles, and you really get an excellent idea of the habitat use, their biology. You're looking into the eagle's world in a way researchers only dreamed of a few decades ago.
So I want to show a tool that you guys use quite a bit that works with these backpacks. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. This is Raptor Tracker. And again, you can access this. We have that on the resource page for you, so you guys can go ahead and access it. You should be seeing right now a map with a lot of squiggly lines and some bird outlines and shapes. So this is Raptor Tracker, and we are looking, in fact, I'm going to zoom out, because you are looking right now at the migration paths and the wintering habits of all the golden eagles that Raptor View Research Institute has backpacks on. Is that correct?
Yep, and the tracks that you see that are up in Alaska and northern Canada, those are birds from last year. There you go. And now we're looking at where they summer and where they summer. So we have some local ones down here in Montana, and then we got a bunch in southeast Alaska, and then some all the way up on the north slope of Alaska.
Yeah, and this is sort of fun. Let's see if we can make this guy, we can move it, and you can see the routes that there we go. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, you can see them moving along, and it correlates to a date range. So it's a really fun tool to play with. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to deselect all of these golden eagles. And you can actually see up here that we have all different types of birds that they're studying as well. So I'm going to...
Oh, this is cool.
It's just fun to watch, right? Yeah. So we're going to have none of the eagles selected. And then I'm going to come over here. And we were looking at Clarice earlier. So Clarice is a new eagle. Let's see, I have to... Oops. Sorry, Oxford Dictionary. That's not what I'm interested in right now. You might have to help me with this. Oh, there we go. So I want to be able to see where Clarice is. So we can see that Clarice is way up here. And I'm going to move the timeline over and just pause it for a second. So we can zoom in a little bit. And I want to have you make some observations. So what you see. So first off, we know Clarice is in Montana. And we can kind of figure out where Clarice is by some landmarks. So this big, gigantic lake, biggest lake, one of the biggest lakes in Montana here. I'm wondering if anybody can have a guess what that is. Very popular, very close to Glacier. If you said Flathead Lake, you are exactly right. So here's Flathead Lake right here. Right in here, you can see all these river valleys coming together. I know that one. That's Missoula, where that happens.
And where we are, we're right.
Yeah, right about here. So this is where we are right now, where my little hand is. So Clarice is just over in the Swan Range. So let's zoom in a little bit, and I'd like you to make some observations. We'll start sort of at a higher level out, maybe right here, and go ahead and make some observations about what you see on this map or with her flyway, and then go ahead and either unmute your microphone and you can share those observations with us, or you can type them in the chat. And then we'll go in a little bit closer, we'll zoom in even closer after that to take a look. So, and what's fun is that if we look at the dates, like these dates are like as soon as or as recent as yesterday, we were getting little data points on Clarice. So what do you observe in your classrooms about this map?
This is north, right on the road.
Oh, look at that.
Boom, boom, boom. Like that's feeding roadkill too.
Yep.
They can hear him.
They can hear you.
Yeah.
He's giving you clues as to what she might be doing. All right. So any thoughts? All right, well, I'm going to make a few observations, and go ahead, write stuff in or unmute your microphones and let us know. But I'm noticing that there are some lakes around. I am seeing the tops of the ridge tops of mountains, which I know that golden eagles really like that area. I'm seeing some open land as well, so some prairie land where they might be able to find some of those rodents that we talked about earlier on. I'm also seeing that it seems like there's little clusters on this map where Clarice maybe spends more time.
We're concerned about Clarice in this area.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more, and I want to see if you can maybe find one of the reasons we might be concerned about Clarice. Do you guys see anything that could be a hazard for Clarice? Go ahead and type in the chat. I'm going to kind of just keep moving this along, see what we can see, because there's more spots even down here that Clarice is hanging out in. Yep, there she is there, and we can go up here. So Rob, what concerns you the most about this imagery that we're looking at?
Well, what we noticed even a couple weeks ago, is that Clarice is spending a lot of time in the Swan Valley, the southern end of the Swan Valley, which we know is a narrow corridor on Highway 83. And we found that she was hanging out right along the roadsides, even right on the shoulders of the road a few times, and we assume that she's feeding on roadkill deer.
Ooh.
And it's kind of it's a bad area for eagles being struck by vehicles, because it's like I was saying, it's a very narrow valley. It's a lot of deer, and there's a lot of roadkill. And the Department of Transportation does its best to clean up these deer, but when they're plowing snow and de-icing roads, they don't do it. And so you get this buildup of carcasses on the road, and it's essentially a deadly trap for the eagles.
Oh my goodness. So that's one of the dangers that eagles have to really be aware of is our roads and roadkill, right? Interesting. Okay. So that's really helpful. This is some data that helps you sort of figure out what's going on in their study. I bet it also helps you to determine whether or not the eagle is a local or a migrating eagle.
Well, that's it. We don't know what Clarice is yet. When we capture these birds, there's no way of telling if it's a northern bird, like a bird that would summer in Alaska or Northwest Territories?
I think Polly is a migrating bird.
Oh, cool.
So we can now look and we can see the difference between right now. So we know that here's Polly, and if I hit play, we can see that Polly in the summer hangs out up in Alaska. And then you see, I'm looking at the date down here. So it's August, it's September. Oh, look, Polly's starting to kind of move around. October. Oh, Polly has started his flight. You can see he pauses at different areas. Those are called stopover points. And Polly ends up in Montana, where Polly spends a good chunk of the winter.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat to be able to see, start to identify the birds. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm curious if maybe Chloe and Adrian would like to share what they're working on. Let's see. How about you first? You've got something you're working on.
So I think Rob talked a little bit about the wing tags earlier, and we actually make them in-house. So while we're waiting for an eagle to come down on a bait and we're watching, we usually have like our laptops near us as we're doing this. We're just looking up, and it's basically just coloring. We sort of stencil the numbers in with pencil, and then we have these paint markers, and we just sort of color. And this is my favorite part of it. I think my least favorite part is actually drawing the numbers on there. I like the painting though.
I love it. All right, and Chloe, what are you working on?
I'm working on
she's coming close.
Blood sample that we retrieved from a bald eagle on New Year's Eve. Hatch year, now his second year.
These guys work every day.
We were here on New Year's Eve, and so I'm going to extract this blood with this capillary tube, and then I have a little plunger, and I'm going to push the blood into this buffer solution here. You can't really see it that well. And then we're going to test the buffer solution for lead and how much lead it has in it, and whether it's clinical or
subclinical. Background. Yeah, we'll know right away what that bird's lead level was at the time of capture.
Absolutely. So what have you found today so far? You've been testing all day.
Yeah, so far we've had birds with a pretty high clinical value of 59.
Whoa.
And then our lowest bird was 11.3. So it's kind of all over the place. We've had 38, 17, 26.
Any of these numbers would send us right to the hospital.
Wow. That's pretty wild. Okay, so we've learned a little bit about the research. I want to open it up to questions, and with the questions, it can be, you guys can ask about the research that's happening. You can ask about golden eagle facts. You can ask, it's open, the floor is open for you guys. So, yes, Kathleen.
Miss Roscoe's class asked, how big do eagles' wingspans get?
Oh, that is a great question.
We used to measure them all the time. It was just one of the many measurements we took. We've gotten away from measuring the actual wingspan, but we measured wingspans of 7 feet, 5, 6 inches, like really, really big wingspans. So yeah, I would say 7 foot is a good sized golden wingspan.
How tall are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm 5'10".
So you're saying, hold on, you're saying that if I'm an eagle and I had my wings, it would go that much higher than me?
Yeah.
You're kidding. That's enormous. Wow. So my mind is just absolutely amazed by that. So I'm hearing that they eat like small things like rodents. Do they ever go after larger prey?
It's really cool to go into a golden eagle nest and see what they're feeding on. And they could have everything from a starling in there. You'll find remnants of starling and magpie, and as up to white-tailed deer, mule deer, antelope, fox, coyote, horned owls. They have a prey species list that reads like a scroll, truly. And I was going to try. We watched one this fall. Adrian and I were at the banding station in the Bitterroot Mountains, and we watched a golden eagle for about 20 minutes trying to take down a mule deer buck.
Wow.
Yeah. We were stunned. We were shocked by that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Brodus or Sailor Bray, do you have any questions for Rob on golden eagles? Or the research
And
that
I
he's
should say
doing?
this is a bird, the North American record for a wild caught golden eagle is 18 and a half pounds. And it had friends of ours, colleagues, it had a full crop. So the upper part of the stomach, the proventriculus, is essentially a storage space for the eagles. So they'll bring the food down into their lower gut, and then they'll eat again and fill the crop. It's just a means of being able to get more food. So we took 2 pounds out because the crop contents can be up to 2 pounds. It was still 16 and a half pounds, which is huge if you're an eagle. But to think that a bird, even a 16-pound bird, was trying to take down a mule deer spike buck, we were blown away by that, and we've been doing this for a long time.
That's incredible. So I'm pretty sure that we have some friends on the stream that are from Alaska that are watching today. Mr. Adair's class. So hello to you guys. Where in Alaska are the golden eagles headed? Like, would they have a chance of seeing one of our Montana golden eagles?
Where are they?
Yeah, like are they where in Alaska do they go?
Southeast Alaska, the Wrangell Mountains, the Brooks Range.
Oh, wow, okay.
We keep waiting for one to end up as a nester in Denali, but we haven't had that happen. Alaska has a great golden eagle migration spring count site called Gunsight Pass.
Okay.
And I just saw there's going to be a presentation on Gunsight Pass that anybody can log into. I don't have the exact dates coming right up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
That's an amazing golden eagle migration site. And so, yeah, Gunsight Pass is Southeast Alaska.
Southeast Alaska. Well, let's see. I think they're on the Kenai.
That's tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Mr. Adair's class is on the Kenai.
Oh.
Up in Alaska.
The Kenai is interesting. We've had red-tailed hawks and Harlan's or Alaska type red-tailed hawk that we tagged down here end up summering in the Kenai, and then colleagues have rough-legged hawks that nest and summer on the Kenai, and we recently caught a hybrid bird. This is interesting.
Oh wait, a hybrid bird.
A hybrid red-tailed hawk, rough-legged hawk, and we're going to have a little pool for all of us to guess where this hybrid hawk is going to summer. It's currently in Idaho, but where will it go this summer? And my guess is it's going to go to the Kenai.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Oh, that's really fun. Okay.
But I'm probably wrong.
Well, I wonder if the students could probably get on that guessing. They could send me their guesses and I'll pass them on.
This is going to be really interesting. And it's a hybrid, and so we got blood samples. Actually, Adrian caught the hybrid, and so we're really excited about that. It's not an eagle, but it is cool.
That's fantastic. Well, throughout the day we're here, and if we're lucky enough that an eagle or a hawk lands on the bait, I will send an email out to all of the teachers immediately, and anybody can hop on to watch this. So we'll do a last round of questions. If anybody has any questions, now is the time to ask them.
Is there anybody that thinks golden eagles are bigger than bald eagles?
Oh, I don't know. What do you guys think? Who's bigger? The golden or the bald?
They're about the same size.
About the same size?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems like everybody thinks golden eagles are bigger.
I kind of thought that.
Everybody says it. Dispel that myth right now.
All right. So one thing you can go home and tell your parents that golden eagles and bald eagles are about the same size.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us today. And like I said, if we catch an eagle, I will let your teachers know, and everybody can hop back on, and we'll watch the golden eagle close up. So I hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon, and we will see everybody later. Thank you.